So you've obviously signed to return to the UK for Bellator on the 22nd of June, and you've literally just announced your opponent. But just so we're clear on it, do you want to tell us who you're fighting?
Yes, I'll be fighting Erick Sliva, June 22nd at Wembley Arena.
See, for me, this is such an exciting fight. It's a great stylistic matchup. He's incredibly experienced veteran, and you've both got some cracking power. Like, how much have you been looking forward to this?
Well, like I said, it was kind of a last-minute thing as such, but it was all like immediately after the fight that I just had against Michael Page. Me and my corner team, we were talking, walking through the airport, and Erick Sliva was in front of us, and we're thinking, who could they match us with next? And then I was like, it's going to be him. The fight made sense. You know, two former UFC veterans, obviously, were in the same weight division. He had a massive reputation coming into the UFC, and now obviously carrying it over to Bellator as well. So I knew his name holds weight, and I knew it was a fight that had to be made.
And obviously, I don't think we could go through this without talking about your last outing against Page. Like, that was one of those fights there was a huge anticipation for. There was a lot of shit talk. There was a lot of background to it. How disappointed were you not to put on the performance that I know you wanted to go out there and give?
You know what it is? It's kind of like everyone thought I went out there to wrestle. That wasn't the plan at all. I prepared everywhere to win the fight, and I was kind of going off what he gave me. And you know, people may say I came out to wrestle, I came out there to do this and that, but Michael Page is a counter fighter, and you've seen that in the first round. If I don't do anything, he isn't going to do anything. So who is that on? Is it on me or is it on him? It's the fight game. But going there, from there going forward, it was me. He was instigating everything. I was instigating the takedowns, the clinches, all the groundwork. So even though it wasn't the performance that I wanted to give, it was a performance that I had to give, because it was what was given to me. He wasn't doing anything. I had to go out there and take it. And that's what I thought I'd done. And maybe it's because the way that I am pigeonholed as a striker that I lost the fight. I feel like that game plan instigated by Koscheck, a Fitch, I'm not putting myself in the leagues of these people in terms of ground game, but someone who has a reputation of being a ground guy had fought that fight, they would have won. I have no doubt in my mind they would have got that victory. I think it's because we're two strikers. I'm the less flamboyant and social media savvy that I lost the fight. It's not because of what I did, it's because of who I am that's why I lost the fight. It was a close fight though. I give him that. It was a close fight, but I feel like I did enough to win.
Well, I was going to say, it was a really close fight, and I know you've spoken about this previously. Would you be willing, and I know he's spoken that he'd like to get out there and make it more emphatic for one or another of you?
Yeah, most definitely. It's not a fight that I have a burning desire to have the rematch, because I feel like I won the fight. So I don't have a burning desire to get a rematch, but I can see how the fight makes sense. You know, I don't see him getting past Douglas Lima at all. You know, I'd be very, very surprised if he gets past Douglas Lima. And it would be the next biggest fight for him to make for his career, and essentially mine. It's the one that the fans would want to see, and it's a fight that would have to take place in the UK, and it would be massive.
And obviously, you just said there you don't see Page getting past Lima. Who is your prediction for that Grand Prix?
I think Rory McDonald. I think Rory McDonald is just a solid competitor all round. And I've been in there with Lima, and I've been in there with all of them. You know, Lima, McDonald, Page, and Fitch. And for me, you know, and I fought a lot of people as far as feeling like, okay, this guy is just better than me. I've only ever got that from Rory McDonald. Like, no matter how the fight may look, I've always felt competitive against those other opponents. But against Rory, I just felt like I wasn't competitive at all, and I've never felt like that before. And I wasn't together in my head prior to the fight, but that's no excuse. I just feel like he's just better. He's a very good fighter.
And that in mind, obviously, you've developed a lot since that fight, and you've learned a lot. Is that a fight that you'd be keen to revisit? Or
I would love to. You know, I'm a fighter. I want to challenge myself against the best guys, you know, all the time. And I think I've done that a lot of the time in my career. So yeah, it's a fight that I'd like to replay. And you know, if my mind's right and I go in there with the confidence and belief that I was lacking last time, then it could be a very different fight.
And you're coming home to the UK, to England, after fighting abroad, and you know, I know it's interesting for the UK fans that the match against Page happened abroad, but you're coming back here. Like, how much does it mean to you to fight in front of your home crowd, be able to have everyone you care about there and supporting you?
Yeah, it's always good to fight in the UK. My last two outings here have not gone great, but again, the former champion and the current champion, it would be nice to go out there and give everybody the real Semtex. You know, go out there and just switch someone's lights off brutally. And I feel like the Erick Sliva fight is the fight that can give that to the fans.
Okay, well, bearing in mind, obviously, the result from your last fight and saying your last couple in the UK haven't gone to plan, like, what are you going to be doing to make sure that you do showcase that real Semtex and that flair that we all know you can show?
I think it's just, you know, I've been prepared in the last two fights, and the last two fights in the UK, and I was extremely prepared for the last fight prior to this. And my preparation since I've been at Bellator, I feel, has been the best in my career. You know, I don't think I've trained as hard, trained as well, and trained as smart as I have since this second outing with Bellator. And you just got to look at the level of opponents. It's not the fact that I haven't trained well and I haven't performed well. I've been in there with champions, you know, however you want to see it. Rory McDonald, you know, he's one of the best pound for pound. Douglas Lima, one of the best pound for pound. John Fitch, maybe not one of the best pound for pound, but he's been in there with the best pound for pounds, and he was a former World Series of Fighting champion. You know what I mean? I've been in there with top tier guys. I've not been in there with bums. So yeah, I'm always prepared, and I think that you'll see that in this fight. You'll see the difference in caliber for sure.
And so for you, obviously you're a veteran of 50-something professional
60,
fights.
60,
Sorry,
yeah.
my mistake. Like, how do you keep the enthusiasm and the motivation and just keep your foot on the gas the way you do?
Because I love what I do. People have me mistaken for this brute, this Mike Tyson-like savage because of the way I fight and my energy when I'm in there pre and post fight. But I'm a martial artist at heart. You know, I started in 7 in karate. I was running around in ninja suits by the time I was 11. All my gangs would be named after ninja groups. You know, everything about my life is martial arts. So people forget that, and that is a passion. That is not something that can just be taken away because you lose a fight. Or do you know what I mean? I love to train. I love the journey. I love trying to get better. I love trying to improve all the time, and that is what I do, and that's why I'm still here.
And as a martial artist, how frustrating do you find this current breed of people who just want to trash talk and the disrespect that floats around with it? Because I think sometimes it can paint the sport in a really bad light when we're role models for children and everything else.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like someone has success with something, and so people immediately want to mimic it, and you know that's not it. Everybody's unique, and I feel like people are trying to be somebody that they're not, and you know, even myself. So you know, I feel like I've always been myself, and I think that you can see that evolution. You can see the young guy with all the energy, with all the comedy, with all the smack talk and the aggressiveness, and then if you watch my post-fight interviews and pre-fight interviews, you can almost see the evolution of me as a person, and I think just the new kids in MMA are lost. They see McGregor, he's made a ton of money, chatting the way he does, and they see Nick and Nate Diaz, who are unique, and they just try and mimic it. And it's not what martial arts is about. It made them a ton of money, but it's not going to make you a ton of money. What will make you money is being yourself and being real. Yeah.
Okay, and then just, I've been asking everyone this because I'm really interested. Like, Bellator have announced so many great fights coming up over the next few months, like some really, really interesting ones. For you personally, what's the one that you cannot wait to sit down and watch that's coming up?
That is a difficult one. I think the Chandler Pitbull fight, because I like the Pitbull brothers, and I think Chandler's a great athlete as well. I think that fight will be interesting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Cheers.